Most older men think that masturbation is harmless, or that it's something they should just stop doing after a certain age. But the truth, it's not about whether you do it, it's how you do it. Because the way most men over 60 masturbate is actually damaging their erections, draining their testosterone, and making performance worse, not better. It sounds surprising, even uncomfortable to admit, but small habits like timing, frequency, grip strength, and even your mindset during solo sessions can make the difference between supporting your sexual health or silently destroying it. You've been told that masturbation is natural, and it is. But done wrong after 60, it can lead to erectile dysfunction, prostate inflammation, and even hormone imbalances that rob you of your vitality. And what's worse, most men never get told this. I'm Dr. Blake Morgan, a board-certified urologist with over 30 years helping older men restore their testosterone, regain erection strength, and rebuild confidence, often without pills or procedures. In this video, I'll reveal 7 specific masturbation mistakes that are quietly harming older men's sexual health, and show you simple ways to fix them naturally. If you're serious about taking back control of your performance and confidence after 60, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next health tip made just for you. And let me know in the comments, type 1 if you think your habits are helping or 0 if you're not sure. Let's find out together. Now let's get to mistake 1. Mistake 1. Masturbating with a death grip. Let's be honest, this is one most men don't want to admit. But it's extremely common. You use a strong grip, you squeeze tight, you move fast. It gets the job done. But over time, this habit actually trains your brain and body to respond only to a level of pressure that a real partner can't match. This is called death grip syndrome, and it's one of the most silent erection killers in older men. When your brain associates climax only with intense, fast pressure, it becomes desensitized to normal stimulation, like from your spouse or partner. So even if you're healthy, your erections may not stay strong during real intimacy because your brain isn't responding the same way. In your 20s or 30s, this might not cause problems. But after 60, when testosterone naturally declines and nerves are more sensitive to damage, this habit becomes a major contributor to performance anxiety, lack of sensation, and even ED. I had a patient, Leonard, 68, divorced, retired, active. But he came to me frustrated. He said he could achieve an erection during solo time, but it would go soft during intimacy. I asked about his habits, and sure enough, he'd been using the same intense grip and speed for decades. We changed his routine completely. Slower touch, no death grip, and incorporating non-stimulating moments. Within 6 weeks, his response during intimacy had already improved. The fix: relax the grip. Focus on sensation over speed. Use your non-dominant hand, slow down, treat it more like practice, not a race to finish. If you've ever noticed yourself needing more pressure just to feel something, or struggling to stay hard during real intimacy, your grip might be to blame. Next up, the mistake that drains testosterone in the most subtle way. Cross-mark mistake 2, masturbating late at night, right before bed. It might feel relaxing. You think it helps you fall asleep. But here's the truth. For men over 60, climaxing right before sleep can actually suppress your natural nighttime testosterone surge, the time your body naturally builds and balances your hormones. Testosterone is highest in the early morning, especially around 4-6 a.m. But if you ejaculate right before sleep, your body shifts into recovery mode, not rebuilding mode. That means your testosterone may not climb to its peak. Over time, that adds up to a major hormone loss, and most men never make the connection. Dennis, 71, was a retired lawyer. He had no major health issues, but complained of waking up groggy, with low energy and almost no morning erections. I asked about his habits. He admitted to masturbating every night before sleep, often out of boredom or stress. Once we moved his release time earlier in the day and cut back on frequency, his morning energy and drive returned within a month. You don't have to stop completely. Just rethink your timing. If you feel the need, try earlier in the day, afternoon, or early evening, and give your body time to restore its hormonal balance naturally. Mistake 3. Using porn as the primary stimulus. This one's big, and it goes beyond just morals or opinions. It's about neurochemistry. When you rely on pornography every time you masturbate, especially the high-speed, endless scroll type of videos, your brain becomes overstimulated by artificial novelty. That means your dopamine, the brain chemical that controls motivation, excitement, and arousal, gets hijacked. And what happens over time? Your natural response to real-life touch, real partners, and even imagination weakens. This is called arousal fatigue. The brain becomes numb to the slow, natural buildup that's required for strong intimacy. For older men, whose dopamine levels already decrease with age, this effect can be devastating. I saw this firsthand with Gary, 65. Divorced, recently retired, and spending more time at home alone. He admitted to using porn daily, sometimes for over an hour. But when he finally started dating again, he couldn't stay hard or even get excited with real women. We removed porn for 30 days, encouraged slower, mindful stimulation with no visuals, and focused on rebuilding sensitivity. By the second month, his ability to respond during real intimacy was almost completely restored. Here's the bottom line. Porn is a super stimulant, and your nervous system after 60 is far more sensitive to overstimulation. If you're struggling with intimacy, confidence, or motivation, cutting out porn for even 2 weeks can reboot your brain and restore your natural drive. Now let's move to a mistake that seems harmless, but slowly trains your body not to perform when it matters. Cross-mark mistake 4, always masturbating in the same position or environment sounds strange, right? But this is a sneaky one. Most men have a habit, a chair, a bed, a shower. They always use the same spot, the same angle, even the same hand. And here's the problem. Over time, this creates neurological conditioning. Your brain and body begin to associate arousal and climax with only that specific setup. So when you're in a different situation, like in bed with a partner or a different environment, the body doesn't respond as easily. It's like training your muscles to lift a weight in one way and then expecting to perform differently without any practice. Robert, 67, had this exact issue. He always used a reclining chair at night with his phone. That was his routine. But during intimacy with his new partner, things wouldn't work. He didn't feel aroused, and his erection was weak. It wasn't dysfunction, it was conditioning. We broke the pattern by encouraging different positions, less predictable times, and using imagination instead of digital stimulation. Within weeks, his intimacy response improved. The takeaway: mix things up. Change your location. Use your non-dominant hand. Stand, lie down, breathe differently. Teach your brain and body to respond in multiple contexts. That's how you stay adaptable and strong, especially after 60. Now coming up, a mistake that silently harms your prostate health. Cross-mark mistake 5. Not allowing enough time between ejaculations. Here's something rarely talked about: recovery time. After 60, your body's ability to rebound after ejaculation slows down. Your nervous system needs more time. Your prostate needs more rest. And your testosterone takes longer to replenish. But most men try to keep their old habits, once a day or even multiple times a day, and they don't realize they're constantly stressing the reproductive system. This can lead to weaker erections, increased prostate inflammation, reduced semen volume, lower morning testosterone. I had a patient named Walter, 70. He felt fine, but his erections weren't as firm, and he was getting up 3 times a night to pee. When we talked, he mentioned daily masturbation. It wasn't excessive in his mind, just a habit. But when we shifted to every 3rd day and added pelvic floor relaxation exercises, his nighttime urination decreased and erection strength returned. The golden rule: listen to your body. For most men over 60, 2 to 3 times per week is more than enough to keep hormones balanced, blood flow strong, and nerves responsive, without overworking your system. Next, a mistake that's emotional in nature, but just as damaging to your sexual health. Cross-mark mistake 6. Masturbating out of boredom, loneliness, or guilt. We all know emotions and hormones are connected. But most older men don't realize how emotional habits around masturbation can directly affect their body's physical response. When you masturbate out of boredom, stress, guilt, or emotional numbness, your body doesn't respond the same way. The nervous system enters a depressed mode. Erections become less responsive. Climax is less satisfying. And over time, this reinforces a cycle of emotional and sexual dullness. Frank, 74, lived alone after losing his wife. He told me he had no desire for intimacy, but still masturbated daily just to feel something. But afterward, he felt worse, tired, guilty, unmotivated. We worked on redirecting his emotional energy, morning walks, journaling, reconnecting socially. Masturbation became less frequent but more intentional, and his emotional and physical health improved across the board. Here's the key: don't use masturbation to escape emotions. Use it to connect with yourself, not distract. If you're bored, move your body. If you're lonely, call someone. If you're feeling disconnected, focus on self-care that restores you. Coming up, the final mistake, and it's the one even health-conscious men fall for. Mistake 7. Ignoring pelvic floor health. You've probably heard of pelvic floor exercises, maybe even Kegels. But here's the truth. If you're not actively training your pelvic floor, you're missing out on one of the most critical aspects of erection strength after 60. Why? Because the pelvic floor muscles are responsible for initiating and sustaining erections, ejaculation, control, bladder stability. But here's the catch. Most older men let these muscles weaken with age. And worse, they masturbate in ways that add tension, sitting too long, bearing down, or tensing the wrong muscles. Jack, 69, complained of weak erections and dribbling after urination. I asked him to lie down, take a breath, and try a pelvic squeeze. He couldn't even activate the muscle. Within 6 weeks of guided pelvic floor exercises, plus proper posture during stimulation, his erection quality, ejaculation control, and bladder function all improved. You don't need equipment. Just start simple. Contract the muscles you'd use to stop urine midstream. Hold for 5 seconds. Release. Do that a few times a day. This one habit alone can transform your erections after 60, and most men never even try. If even one of these habits sounded familiar, don't feel bad. Most older men were never taught this stuff. But the power to change is in your hands. Fixing these mistakes doesn't require medication or surgery. It starts with awareness, intention, and small adjustments, and the results can be life-changing. So here's what to do next. White heavy checkmark, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. White heavy checkmark and drop a comment. Which of these 7 mistakes surprised you the most? Your answer might help another man wake up and change his health. Stay strong, stay sharp, and as always, I've got your back.